Are we up? Looks like we're up and running. What kind of day is it going to be here today? Quiet? I hope. The usual crowd here this morning. Hello, gentlemen. Francis Hanga is there, I see. Good morning, everybody. I don't remember if I reported yesterday, but three of our guys yesterday, Aoyama-san, the guy who works here, with me on doing the sizing and the block preparation, things like that. You meet him sometimes on these threads when he comes in the morning. He and John-san, our new young carver, the boy from Hong Kong, and Kawai-san, who you know from these threads, the three of them yesterday, they went out to the lumber markets on a search for cherry wood. They've been, networking? They've been looking on the net and following threads and phoning people and trying to get, who might have some, who might know where there is some. They've just been on a search for anybody that might have cherry wood, Yamazakura. And they were out yesterday all day long around the lumber markets. I think they rented a little car to ride around because the place is so big. Back and forth and back and forth. And they found a few things. They sent me a video last night from their pocket camera. One place must have had some slabs of wood stacked up in the back somewhere, and they convinced the guy to get his forklift out and haul them down so they could see them. They laid him out on the floor and showed him. At least I was really excited. We found some. But when I saw the video clip, I'm not so excited. It's very, very, I think it's very poor quality stuff. The wood grain is all the wrong direction for what we need. And so I have to be careful when he comes in today. He's going to be really excited that he found some, and I think he hasn't found anything, but we'll have to see how it goes. So. But it's a start. I'm not dissing the guy. That's what we want to do. We just got to get out there and start hunting, and at some point we'll find a log or something that looks like it might suit our needs. So the hunt is on. Oh, the other meeting, yeah, tax day. Tax day is nothing to report. It's just, meeting with the accountants, sorting out, actually, it's related a little bit to that wood. One reason why I've sent the guys out now to try and find some slabs of wood is that it's coming up to the end of the year. And as with any business organization, we're looking ahead to see what our tax bill is going to be like in the spring. And partly because of Patreon this year, we've got a little bit of a savings account now built up. And of course, the more you build up in your savings, the more of a tax liability you have. So the tax guy saw that little box on my chart and says, "What's this?" I said, "That's the money from the Patreons." And he's like, "Explain." I explained to him. He sits there with his head like what? Wait a minute. What? They're just giving you money? I explained, how it works and fans and stuff like this. And he'd never heard of anything like this. He couldn't sort of get his head around it. He said, you're going to send, they're buying it now and you're going to send the goods later. Because he was talking about booking the revenue next year or something. If it's a payment in advance for something we're shipping next year or something. I said, no, it's not like that. It's basically a donation, They're getting a small gift in return, but it's not a purchase, And he's really scratching his head about how to book this revenue, But the answer at the end of the day was the same, that the more savings we have, the more tax we'll pay. So he said, if you've got some expenses you can clear during this year, then do it, That's why we're trying to find wood right now as opposed to next January, of course. If we can spend the money now instead of then, it'll help us. Like we're talking about millions of dollars, yeah. He's just laughing at us. We're just a minnow, I wonder if I could show that movie. Lisan sent me a movie. It's like a 2-minute video clip of the warehouse where they were yesterday after they got those slabs on the floor. It's not super interesting, but I wonder if I can pop it up here. Give me a test. I did play a movie clip once before in this stream. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this again. Let me try. It might get a bit bored here. Let me just try and do this. Just a minute. See if I can do this. Add media source. Hit me. Wood video. Excuse me a sec. Patience here while I try and find this. In my downloads folder. I think I can play this. I might have to resize it. Give me a second. It's a 1-minute video, 1 minute and 8 seconds, and this is taken in the lumberyard where they were searching for cherry. And these are slabs of Yamazakura that are on the floor, so they can inspect it. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. They've been pulled up this. I can't pause this. This looks clean, but the wood grain is all wrong. This is vertical grain. This is what they want when they're making furniture, but it's not so good for us. Nice, long, thick piece. This one's pretty smashed up. The third one, whatever, make a counter for a sushi bar might look better. This one, number 977, looks like one that it might be good for us. It's more of a plank. The grain is flat grain rather than vertical tut grain. This is the one thing I'm going to ask her to try and buy. You're looking probably about $2,000 for each of these. That one's split. There's a wooden pin at the end, and this last one I don't think is anything here for us, just little scraps. So the third from the right, that one I think is the one that might go for us. There we have it. Look at that, I can actually do that playing video. Wow. And I don't know the price yet. I'm going to see what Lisan says to me this morning, but last time we bought wood of about that same size cherry. Actually, it was more than that, I think. The pieces were a bit longer and they were a bit thicker. It won't be $2,000, but it'll be something close to $2,000 for that one that I'm looking at. And that's just the raw cost of the wood, sitting there on the floor of the lumberyard. Then we've got to slice it, of course. What they also found yesterday, they found a shop out there. After buying it from that place, if we do that, we have to rent a truck, drag it over to another part of the lumber market there where there's a guy with a giant resaw, and then try and get it resawn into 5 or 6 millimeter pieces. And that's difficult with wood that's that thin. Pay those guys for that. Then get it back here to Asakusa. Rent a truck, bring it back to Asakusa. So it's an expensive proposition. And then make the wood blocks, like that doesn't cost anything either, Select all the particular pieces we want, get them dried. So looking back to the old days when we could just phone the guy, the block maker, Shimano-san, he's long dead now. I just used to phone him and say, next month, here's what I need. I gave him my dimensions. I described what kind of wood I'd want. And a few weeks later, they just showed up in the mail. My God, I didn't know how easy I had it. We used to have a choice, of the different places we could call to get blocks for printmaking. It was enough of an ongoing business, even when I first came here to Japan in the late 70s. There were multiple places to go. You could source the wood. Itakane here in Tokyo, Aoyama Shoten down in Kyoto. Go and visit the guy, and outside his shop there were just all these boards and boards and boards drying. I'd kill for any one of those boards now, and they just sat there, I should have been smart enough to see this coming, that the supply chain would just disappear. Didn't really think about it. For those of you keeping track of what I'm doing here, did you notice that last night I did a whole bunch? When I left the stream yesterday, I'd done this apron and stuff. And now this morning I'm starting here, but I did all this hair last night, these hairs on the guy's arms. I came back before I went to bed for a couple of hours of light, peaceful work. I haven't done it for quite a long time. I'm sure someone's going to ask, why didn't you turn the camera on? But I just wanted to be peaceful, quiet carving before I went to bed for a while. So, I mean, this is okay too, having the stream on, but I don't want it on all the time, How much is enough and how much is too much? So. What have we got? I don't hear the question sound, but there must be stuff here. What have we got? Oh my God, look at them all. Any more thoughts about buying the Kaigetsu blocks? I'm thinking. This was part of yesterday's tax discussion, how much money to use and how much to... Even when he's supposed to go to bed, he can't stay away. Relax, relax, relax. It's not work. It was a very, very, very peaceful time. Totally, absolutely happy. Put some music on because there was no stream. Just carve quietly. Couldn't be happier. Please don't put any kind of a gloomy thing on this. Dave has to work at night and stuff. Linoleum for carving. No experience, not really interested. The kind of printmaking we do really requires a good, rich, deep, thick wood to do this. So I know nothing about that. I'm sorry. So you're talking about the owls, and I don't dare print owls because it's going to make more orders in a vicious circle. We need more. Down of the orders last night, somebody sent in an order. I can't names and stuff. Someone's been buying our gift prints for a year. He sent in an order for like 10. Dave, here's all the addresses. Send them to these people. Away you go. And that's put us over the. What's this comment? Dave, listen to music, being sarcastic. But in Ome, before I came here to Asakusa, I've talked about this. My workroom. It's a concrete building down in the basement of a concrete building over the river with no neighbors nearby. I had a 5-way sound system, bass woofer. It's still there listening, waiting for me. I crank it up so loud you can't even hear whatever. Yeah, I lived with music pretty much all my life until these last few years, you know. I had the idea I wanted to be a musician when I was a kid. It was classical flute first, then guitar, then tenor saxophone. The instruments are still in the cupboards. I listened to all kinds of music. It was, you know, in the beginning it was just classical music when I was a teenager. I missed the rock and roll stuff, even though that was my era. I missed the Beatles and stuff like that. Then after I got more mature, it was jazz. I have, over in Ome, there's a shelf, I can't even think how long. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters long of LPs. Then the boxes and boxes of CDs. I was living with music for most of my life. These last few years has been silent. Not sure if it's ever going to get back to that stage, you know. I don't know. The Ome workroom is still there. There's dust everywhere, all over my bench. Just hasn't been touched now in 3 years. Got a printing bench back there and a carving bench back there. The windows are filthy. They're covered with some kind of mold on the outside because it looks over the river, so it's damp all the time. And now with nobody washing the windows for nearly 3 years, they're covered with some kind of green, I don't know, algae type stuff. The neighbors or anybody who doesn't know must think the old guy who was living there died or something, you know. Part of me says I'd like to get back there, just take a vacation from Asakusa, go back there and spend some time carving and working back there. And the other part of me says, forget it, it's history, it's gone, just move forward, stick with this part of it. Party reservation and a question in the box. Let's have a look. A question in the box. Yeah, music on streams. I'm not going to start playing music on the stream. There's no way. That's not what we're here for. So, where are my questions? There is a question in the box. Yeah, asking about the microscope. It's a good question. Eh? What am I using? I know. North Pole. What are you talking about? What was the question? Yeah, microscope. I know. It's interesting. I know. What's the word? I forget the genre it's called. It's a stereo microscope, and that's not just because it's like got two eyepieces. It's it describes the type. We're used to seeing like whatever one eyepiece going down, and you're looking at blood cells inside stuff. This doesn't go that far. What these things are designed for are things like people who are inspecting integrated circuits and stuff like that, or looking at flies or whatever. We're not talking about the level of looking at bacteria and cells and stuff, obviously. And I'm not actually using it for a microscope. I'm using it as glasses. We talked about this a little bit before. It's a Meiji microscope. If you're going to look it up, the person who asked the question, it's a Meiji microscope, the EMZ series. And I've got no idea what the numbers are. It doesn't have any information on it. And you can probably see I'm sitting back from it. I don't actually stick my eyes up to it. I sit back from it a bit. And what I'm using it as are glasses. You've seen me change my glasses back and forth here. I have one pair of glasses for stuff like looking at the screen or reading a newspaper. I can't carve them because that's too close. Switch to the next pair of glasses with no scope, and I can carve with it, but I have to get so close to it, there's no room for my hand inside. And this stuff is just right where, if I sit back, and it makes it clear and sharp in focus, and there's room for my hand to go here underneath, my hand and my knife to go underneath. Of course, it's also enlarged a little bit, but not so much. What do I say? I can see back and forth, real life scope, real life scope. It's maybe not quite double size, I guess. I'm not quite sure. It looks closer, so it's hard to gauge. So anyway, that's what it is. For the person who asked, it's a Meiji EMZ series. I have two of them. I have this one, which is a double, and I've got a third one, a trinocular, which has got a setup for a camera, which I still haven't ever had time to sort out, but that's going to be fun one day. Put the camera on top of the scope so it looks down and sees exactly the same thing that I'm seeing. And I got the tool, just haven't had time to play with it. Yeah, these are glasses. Not very portable, but these are glasses for me. And you can adjust the left eye and right eye independently, of course. And I use this thing at the lowest, what's the word? Magnification. I use it at the lowest possible magnification. So I'm zoomed all the way out. If I zoom in, now it starts to get, whoa. I mean, it starts to get really close, but it's useless for me. What you can see, just one tiny fraction of the knife. You can't actually do anything. So I use it at the weakest power. Yeah, that would be fun. Have everybody looking down through the scope, I imagine imagine you wanting me to get on it, but I'm sorry, there's other priorities here right now. There's a slight problem with that scope, the trinocular, you know. It's the same structure, it's one of these Meiji scopes, but it's got a different lens pack included. And it zooms in too close, you know. Even at its weakest magnification, I can like see just one fingernail inside there, so it's really not practical for me to carve. But these lenses, I believe, you can swap them in and out. So what it needs me to do is get the trinocular scope up, take out its lenses, change with the lenses on this one, get a camera attachment. I mean, you can see why I don't have this thing up and running. I'm sorry, just too much fooling around. So, and no rush. One day we'll do that and blow the world away, looking through the scope, you know. Talk about getting closer to a Japanese traditional carver. All in good time, if I live that long. Conversations, it's okay. Maps and stuff. Hey, you guys go at it. Hey. Okay, let's carve some more of this hair. Hair on his arm here. Jed just draws these things, you know, chut. Takes seconds to draw these things. The faster the better, you know, it looks lively and vivid. Seconds to draw it, hours to carve it. All the lines that crisscross each other, you know, the hairs criss and cross and criss and cross. And he just draws them, and we have to go around the outside. So. That's the job description, so no complaint. Out it comes. Very nice. don't know what that sound is outside. I heard it yesterday too for the first time. Somebody's got a new air conditioner or something. I don't know what that is. Cameron's gonna. He was off yesterday. He's working at home. There's a ton of stuff waiting for him today. Ha ha ha. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Feeling a bit better finally.
Oh, so. Hi.
Yeah. How about you? How was yesterday?
Which one yesterday? What?
Everything. Was it pretty busy in the shop?
Yeah, I know. Not so bad in the shop. Luckily, it was a quiet day in the shop. But the wood search went. They found some stuff, not so great, but something. The tax discussions, whatever, the same sort. The guy just says, use it, use it, use it, use it up,
money.
Use it up, So
Yeah.
I was just chatting with these guys. It's about the Patreon money sitting in there, So.
Yeah.
But he had no help, no easy answer for us.
No.
And as I knew exactly what would happen when I started to explain the thing about the Patreon, the guy says, "What's that?"
Of course.
And you describe to him, what people are doing, and he's like, "Wait, no, this is shopping, right? They're just paying in advance, and it's going to be delivered next year. So you're trying to defer the income to next year." I said, "No. There's nothing going to be delivered." He says, "Why would they do that? What?
Because they like you.
Whatever, the fans are fans, And I guess I get it. Someone like him, he's super Mr. Businessman. He deals with giant corporations and stuff, and so he's never heard of this.
Can't fathom.
So I guess,
giving money away.
I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. He's got his job in the world he knows, and we've got our job, So.
Yeah.
But he had no answer. There's no little box that we can put it in where it doesn't get taxed. It doesn't work like that. So.
No. The taxes.
No, not at all. Not at our level.
Yeah.
Apple can play games with differing revenue on iPhones and whatever, but we can't. So.
We're not.
No, that's not so much money anyway. There's a ton of stuff waiting for you.
All right.
The orders have not only have the orders have not stopped for the owls and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff.
There's a bunch.
So. Also, the one I sent you this morning.
Yes.
The stream. Excuse me while I talk to Cameron about these things. Sorry. Excuse me.
Morning.
I sent you that error list
reports,
this morning.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. When Lee San started working on the new website,
Right.
I know from my personal experience, there's lots of times where you building a page halfway through and you haven't finished, so the thing generates lots of 404 errors because the images are not there. So I turned it off from Mokuhankan.jp 3 months. No, I knew what was going to happen. So I just turned it off for the whole domain name, Mokuhankan.jp.
Okay.
I thought, you guys told me you're almost finished.
Yeah.
And you're doing, and I got an error from the cron job that I set up saying that file is not readable.
Huh.
So I talked to you about that. I'll have to look at that. But anyway, so I thought, okay, it's time to turn back on the error messages so that these guys can find things. When you access the page, if there's a script that's not being found or something. Yeah. And that's the first readout. And there are, so you guys have some work to do to find out, what images.
What is missing. Yeah.
So anyway, what they chose is, each one is, the top line is the page that the person was on.
Okay.
And the second line is the sub thing that wasn't found. It was an image or a script. Yes, missing file.
Okay.
And they're all, the domain, they're showing the access, it's you or I am a son and whatever time place. So.
Yeah, I saw a lot. So the caching, it looks like the caching is not working properly.
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
We'll dig around.
So I just, and at the moment, that's set to generate, I think it's set to generate twice a day. I can tell you how to generate it at any given moment. If you've tried something and tested, you want to generate it.
Okay.
We can do that anytime. At the moment, it's just automatic, and we'll get one twice a day. So. And if you want me to turn it off because it's too soon, just tell me to turn it. It doesn't matter, So it's just
talk with Aoyama-san. Both being here together.
Okay. That's what it is. So I thought it was time to get started.
Yep. Good to know. Start debugging.
And then orders there are a ton. All these people who have been shipped this to that guy, shipped this to that guy, put this message in. There's those things have now grown to the point where I've myself have lost control of what we're trying to do.
Oh,
no. You know the names, so I shouldn't put the names, whatever. There's those people who have asked, send these 3 and put these messages. There's now 4 people like that.
4 people with sub people.
It was 4 people with a bunch of sub people.
Okay,
Yes. So,
got it.
and we're going to have to grab this because if we don't be really careful, it's just going to get totally out of control. You know?
It's gonna go everywhere.
And send them to Ome really carefully so that they can clearly understand.
Okay.
And then another, this gentleman now that just sent this morning, he's a repeater for the gifts, and he's a bit old-fashioned. Here's the money. Here's the list of names. Take care of it for me.
Take care of it for me. I remember you telling me about him. Every year he does this.
It's okay. Right? It's fine. I mean, whatever. Yeah. It's business, but it makes you feel a bit like you were working in a hotel. The guy calls room service, and I don't want to think like we're like that. But anyway, here it is. So he didn't even go to a shopping cart.
Oh wow! These are the items.
He's the email. He says, "Take care of it. Send me the bill." So whatever. Okay, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Let's get this done. But there's a list. So.
There's a list. Okay. Sounds like it'll be an exciting day.
Yeah. Well, not exciting, but there's so it's going to be a day of just paperwork. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, I'll let you get back to carving.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nope.
Whatever. That wasn't a question mark, was it? I didn't hear. There was a bunch of sounds. Print parties, print parties. That's going to take us time. It's going to sort those out this morning. Question. Nothing in the question box. Hee hee hee. Nothing in the stream. I need to... Dave, sending money to Ireland. Yeah, right. Like we're talking about a lot of money here. So, Patreon supporters, if you've been on for 3 months now, I know, yes, you will start to get prints right now. If you're at the chibi level or above, the system is automatic. And after 3 months have ticked over, 1 month tick, 2 months tick, 3 months tick. After that, you go into our shipping list and you will get the first of the chibi prints. And then 3 months later, tick, 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 another one. If you're at the chibi level or above on the Patreon. I don't know, how do I determine how deep to cut? We've talked about this many times. I know depth, if you think about it like a globe or a map of the continents and oceans, flat. If you think about the thing at the block here like a map, continents and oceans. And the oceans in the real world here, the farther away from the continents you get, the deeper and deeper and deeper they go in a shallow curve. And that's exactly what we do here on these blocks. Any given zone, are we online? Any given zone right here that's between 2 lines doesn't need to go deep because the paper can't possibly fall down there. But the wider and wider we get away between the lines, the bottom has to go deeper so that the paper can't possibly sag into the middle of it. And the very wide areas, of course, have to go still deeper. Our max for our kind of printing, for our kind of paper, which is quite stable, we're never deeper than about 4 millimeters, which is something like near maybe 1/4 of an inch. But again, we're using a very steady paper and we're printing it very carefully. We know we're not going to put pressure on it to put it down into those areas. So how deep to carve? Whatever, try it. And if it's making blotches, then you're going to have to go deeper or adjust the way that you press the paper or get a different kind of paper or adjust the moisture differently. Many, many, many factors. That's not a very smooth hair. I think we'll have to see after test printing. Sounds like a very busy chat over there today. I don't see it all. I'm sorry. Oh, I did it. That hair's on. Where's next? Let's go to his, what are they called? Let's get his apron here. The tongs. Let's get the apron instead here. There's a question. Just you wait till I put my glasses off before you ask the question, right? It's a 5-minute email check, so can't be helped. Hey, let's see. What's the question? Question is, not really anybody who answers. The gentleman's asking if I didn't have cherry wood, what would I use? Again, the answer for me and the answer for maybe other people out there is going to be different. When people ask me, I want to get started with woodblock printmaking, what kind of wood should I use? And we've talked about this before. My answer is whatever you've got there. Just use some piece of wood just to explore the idea and try cutting and printing. You don't need an official kind of wood. The answer for me is different. We really need a very specific type of wood, this cherry, mountain cherry, seasoned a very certain way and cut from the log in a certain way. Because there's a very specific goal we have in mind, the appearance of the print, the way that the pigment is pushed into the paper by our tool. And that requires wood of a certain density, that absorbs moisture in a certain way, that will have wearability to make many hundreds of copies, that will hold the fine lines we carve in it. There's a long list of requirements that make up the thing that we call a Japanese print. And it wasn't random. The thing that we call a Japanese print grew in its specific time and place, Japan, through the 18th and 19th centuries. And they must have explored and experimented with different kinds of wood, stuff that was available to them. Of course, because this mountain cherry was here, and it must have been readily available and easily harvestable, and so they settled on this, and the thing that we call a Japanese print grew and developed based on that wood being there. So people like me now who want to make prints that have that same look and feel and touch and taste, it requires those same raw materials, And people say, Dave, there's lots of other kinds of wood. Use this, use American cherry, use this, use that. And yes, of course, it can be done. You can make a print with anything. My friend Matt Brown in New Hampshire, he uses the cherry over there, and basswood, I think, too, that's available to him in his area. Because the kind of prints here he's making are prints that have grown naturally from that kind of wood. But because we have a very specific goal in mind, prints that have that look and feel, because we have that goal, we need that wood. And it sometimes sounds like I'm being too just traditional for traditional's sake, because this is the way it's always been done and it shouldn't change, That's not the way we do things here. The reason we're being really strict about this, I need exactly that kind of wood, is because it produces exactly the kind of result that I'm looking for. If you've been in the shop here and you've seen the prints on the walls, the light, the pigment, the way the pigment is blended into the paper, it's not random. All those things together add up. And the reason they look like that is in part because of the type of wood that we made them on. So I know it sounds sometimes like I'm just being an old, what's the word, reactionary. That's the way we do it here, and don't bug me, you kids, about some different new style, No. It's a really specific requirement for a specific goal. It's very frustrating sometimes because, of course, we can't get that exact material that we need, and we're the ones who are out of time and out of place, Because the goal is to try and make prints like the Edo and Meiji era, but the environment and climate and everything has changed. So we're the odd men out here. When Aoyama-san yesterday, he said, I got some stuff, let me send you a video, and I'm like, wow, good, I can't wait to see this, And then I see that video and it's, oh no. What is that, an earring? Is this guy wearing an earring? Can't tell. That's his ear. What's this loop hanging down? I guess so. Whatever, Dave. Just carve. Oh, look at this conversation. Tuk, 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 tuk. I don't see any obvious questions for me. It's okay. Things going on. William, again, thanks for helping with the conversations here, explaining stuff. What's next? What's this tangled little mess? I think Jed got a bit too quick and rough here, but, you know, whatever. These other hairs had a start and a finish. Shoop, shoop, shoop. These ones are sort of, I guess it's supposed to be curly chest hair. Whatever. Let's go, let's go. Tend to carve a bit too deeply here. Shouldn't be doing that. It's such a close area that the paper can't possibly sag. There's no reason to go too deep. The wood is so soft, the knife tends to slip down into it. There's the Sosumi sound question. Yoisho. How are we doing for time? We're okay. Still got some time left. What was the question? This is okay. You've got to me. Hi. All right. Okay. You've got me. I know. Let me finish what I'm doing here, and then I'll write back to you. There's a gentleman who's been sending me some images. They're still in my inbox. Weeks ago, I haven't looked at them. I think you've posted them to the Facebook page. I think he's posted them here in the question. Looks like somebody's first carving. Okay. Very famous image you've chosen. Okay, let me get back to you as soon as I finish the stream. I will here on my list of things to do today. Okay, I'll write back to you today. Sorry about being, delaying on this. That's the way to get to me. Put him in the Twitch question stream. Fair enough. Good catch. Where are we here? The wood is quite soft. Can this affect the print quality or the number of prints you get from it? Yes, of course, very much so. I know. Of course. I know the hardness of the wood, it affects very much. Of course, how quickly it will wear out. Harder, obviously, is longer lasting. When we're talking about hardness of wood for our work, you've got to determine two things. One is the key block lines and one is the color blocks, because they're different requirements. For the key blocks, the one I'm carving right now, obviously by definition, it's mostly fine lines. There are few areas of wide, flat color. So the kind of wood is different. And for color blocks, which are mostly wide, flat areas of color, we can get away with, and we need a wood that's softer and more absorbent. If it's too hard for the color blocks, the water doesn't soak inside, the pigment doesn't get on smoothly on them, and the color isn't smooth. So for color blocks, we need a generally softer cherry, but not soft like pine or something like that. But for key blocks, because it's only fine lines, we don't have that requirement for the pigment to settle inside it and to make smooth areas. The number one requirement is, of course, hardness, so we can carve thin lines without breaking, and hardness, so that it will survive for a long time without wearing out. So we need, to make it two different kinds of wood here, both cherry, but a harder type and a softer type. And when I've been complaining about this one, this is too soft. This is a color block. It's from our stock of wood that we've got upstairs for color blocks. We don't have a stock of wood upstairs for key blocks. We can't find any. That's what the boys have been looking for. So this wood is too soft. I can still carve it because I can use the sharp knife and cut shapes, but absolutely it won't last as long as a piece of wood that was really, really hard. The brush, one by one, when you're rubbing pigment on them, the brush hairs bash the physical lines, and at a microscopic level, every single impression you take wears it out a little bit more at a microscopic level. Right? And we'll be able to take hundreds. That's not a problem. We print very carefully. We can take hundreds. But whether or not this block will make thousands, that's a different story. It won't make thousands. But again, all these things we're asking about, these blocks and hard and soft and what kind of wood and stuff, it's what we do. But for people who are thinking about trying it themselves, I really don't want you guys to get hung up on this. For people who are just starting out, who want to try this and see if it's going to be fun or whatever, you don't need the official sanctioned hard cherry block from a specific market in Tokyo, and just grab a piece of wood. The first prints I made were on wood, literally from my landlord's fireplace. I was living in a basement suite in Vancouver, corner of 10th and Highbury. The landlord upstairs had a fireplace, and in the basement next to my suite there was a stack of wood, stuff he'd picked up leftover lumberyard or whatever. And I used pieces from there for my first experiments. Carved them, tried printing them, threw them back in the pile. They went upstairs and got burned, I guess. I don't know. After those experiments, I realized I was having fun doing it, so poke around, think about it a bit more carefully. What kind of wood should I be using? But don't sweat it for your first prints, please. Okay, there we have some chest hair. First pass, after we've done test printing on this, we'll be able to see a few places where maybe it's not quite tapered properly, or maybe the cut between two V's isn't deep enough and the pigment blots there. This will be retouched, is that the word for it? After we do the test printing. That's the first pass. Looking forward to a cup of coffee in a few minutes, Been a rushed morning again. Try and get this thing started in the morning. I've been up late each night, so struggle up a bit in the mornings, don't get everything sorted properly, so I'm looking forward to hearing that doorbell in a few minutes. Nothing personal, you understand, but I'm looking forward to hearing that doorbell, putting this away, getting a cup of coffee, and then hitting the inbox. I'm not looking forward to that, but it's got to be done. Then what else is on tap today? There's got to have the meeting with the boys yesterday about the wood they found. Have a look at it, and look at their information. There's a bunch of supplies have to be ordered. We're running out of cardboard boxes for shipping the portraits prints. There's been a bunch of new subscriptions for that this week. I've got Chon-san, he's coming today. He's waiting for the last batch of color separations for the first print in the boss fight series. He's been really chewing ahead steadily through all those color blocks. We did the separations here. But he needs some of the Photoshop data now for some of the fire and storm patterns and stuff like that. So that's got to be done today. And then, of course, whoever comes up the stairs, spend time with those people. Dave, I've been watching your videos. It's so much fun, It's so much fun to see these people, So take some pictures together. No idea how many such people will be here today. And I got to get some paper wet for another batch of owls. The paper I think is waiting for me. Lisa did some dosa on it, sizing on it the other day. Not sure what else is on my list. A ton of things to do. And tonight, if there's energy and whatever for it, I'll come back here and do some more carving. Oh, and the next YouTube video, of course, that's hanging over my head now, getting closer and closer. YouTube is getting restless. It's been weeks since I did a new one. Nobody's actually complaining. Patreons, for example, Dave, we're paying you, where's the next video? Nobody's saying that. But I have got to get a new video up pretty soon. The natives are getting restless. I'm not sure what it is. There will be a video about this new series, but we can't do that until I get some test printing going. So the next video should be a David's Choice video, or there's nothing upstairs that they're doing that I can video easily right now. Another ramble video. People are always waiting for one of those. But I got to get something up on there soon, or YouTube itself is going to tell their algorithm, non-active account, delete, or whatever it does, And the inbox. There's 2 requests in there just yesterday from TV companies, and I think we're just going to say no. We just can't. There's one company, they sent a letter yesterday. They phoned also while I was out at the accountant's. They want me to prepare some questions. They want to do a quiz program at the end of the year and some of the year-end specials. They want to do a quiz program about ukiyo-e. So they've found me as a, quote, expert, unquote. Oh, here we go. And they want me to prepare some questions, just sort of jokey questions about ukiyo-e that the panel wouldn't be able to answer. Yama-san, good morning. 昨日いろいろありがとうございますね。ムービー楽しかった。今、Twitch の人たちにあのムービーを
見せたんですか？
そう。
まあ、細かいところね、ちょっといろいろあるんで後で話します。
はいですね。そう。
じゃあまた後で。
OK, thank you. Do you understand his Japanese there? So there's lots to talk about that wood. Let's talk about it later once you're off the stream, So he doesn't want to stand here chatting about all that wood, of course, So there's the chest. So the quiz, ukiyo-e questions, it's like I have nothing else to do. They want me to prepare a bunch of questions for a panel quiz that will be funny, that will be entertaining, that will be informative. And they wrote an email which I didn't answer, then they phoned while I wasn't here, and they're going to phone again this morning. And I'm just going to have to say, look, I'm sorry, I can't take that on right now, There's some low-hanging fruit on that sort of thing, episodes that are sort of a bit well-known to people who know something about Japanese prints, but totally unknown to people who don't know anything else about it, But how interesting and fun they are, I don't know, And it'd pay almost nothing anyway. If anything, those guys request stuff for TV programs and end up, not even paying me. So it's because you got your name on the program and stuff, like thanks. We're getting near our time here, so I should get a setup of what we're doing. Today is Friday morning here in Tokyo, right? Yeah, Friday morning here in Tokyo. This block still has a fair amount of stuff left. I've got 2 faces, and I've got to fix that part I wiped off by mistake. This, whatever it's called at the top of the sword. So it's easily at least another day's work. So I'll be here tomorrow, same time, same station. This is Friday, so Saturday morning, Tokyo time, I'll be back here carving on this. And I think it's a couple of days of work, all this here, that thing. So probably Saturday and Sunday, I'll be here working on this. The next step from there will be to test it, proof it, take some color separations. I'm not quite sure how to do those because the kind of colors Jed is calling for these on these new prints are not perfectly within the line colors. They're sort of splashed on, scribbled colors a little bit. So I can't really take that information from the key block the way we do in a classical ukiyo-e print. So I'll have to look at the file he's given me, and maybe it might have to be drawn on by hand. I'm not sure. We'll make that decision when we get there. But that'll be happening over the next few days. So tomorrow, Saturday, and the day after Sunday will be continuing of this carving, I think. And I see lots of comments in the threads, when I go back and read them later about people that screwed up. Dave said he was going to be here on Tuesday and didn't come on Tuesday and stuff. And please understand, I'm talking about Tokyo time, Japan time. Whenever I talk about what I'm doing here, I'll be here on tomorrow, Sunday morning. It's Tokyo time, and we're ahead of nearly everybody else in the world. So for many people, it's the day before. If I'm going to be here Sunday, it's Saturday for you. So. I'm expecting more prints for the flea market to arrive today. We've got a young man helping us find stuff in the used markets. I myself don't have a dealer's license to buy used prints here in Japan. But one of the young men working with us has, and given that it's the year end and we're trying to reduce our savings, I've given him, I've told him get in there and buy stuff for us. And a box arrived yesterday, Hashiguchi Goyo prints, and another package is supposed to arrive today. It's like Christmas here. Where are we? I think we're getting time. Where are the girls today? It's Teiko-san today and Matsumura. Matsumura just didn't show up yesterday, and he's going to get ripped off about that today. We've got a kind of an easy-going thing here. When you don't, when you're not feeling well, you don't come. Fine, of course, common sense. But he didn't even freaking phone us. He just didn't show up. And we got really lucky. Teiko-san was here on time, but what she didn't know was that I was going out to the tax office. And there was a party at 10 o'clock, and she ended up being here by herself for the whole thing, just because the kid booked off without telling us. So he's going to hear about it this morning. You know. If you're sick, you're sick, but let me damn well know about it. You know. Anyway, there we are then. This is it. My carving day is finished, and my business day begins. Here we are. There's our blacksmith coming along. Thank you very much. There are flights from Istanbul to Georgia. What have you guys been talking about? Okay. Whatever. You're in for a print party next week. Good morning, Teiko-san. Hello. While I've been streaming, there's been party reservations. 1, 2, 3. I don't know what time they're for. I haven't had a look yet, but they're building up. Okay, guys, thanks very much. I'll have a look at the stream later when I'm having my lunch, if I can. For now, signing off. I'll be back here same time, same place, tomorrow morning. Ping pong, ping pong. See you again. Thank you. Good morning.